The learnings Zili Nishmas Etta Ahuva bas Yaakov. Maseches Gitin Perik Beis Mishna Gimel. B'chol Koisvin, you could write with any type of ink. B'diyoy, b'sam, b'sikra, which is a red ink. B'kumais, b'kankantim, b'chol davar shuhu shel kayam. It has to be that it's a davar shel kayam. But in Koisvin loy b'mashkin loy b'mei peris loy b'chol davar she'einu miskayim. If it's not miskayim, so then that's not considered of a kosav because it doesn't last. If it doesn't last, then it's not a good ink. The Mishnah continues. Until now, we were talking about what you write with. Now, what can you write it on? Al hakol kaisin, you can write it on anything. Al ola shel zayis, you can write it on a leaf of an olive tree. And Taisa says that it has to be something that's miskayim over here also. The same way the ink had to be miskayim, so the thing that you're writing it on, the paper, also has to be something that's going to last. And al ola shel zayis is miskayim. Ba'al hakeren shel para v'noisen es hapara al yidei Al yad shaleva v'noisen es ha'eved. You could write it on the horn of a cow and give her the whole cow, and you could write it on the hand of a slave and give her the whole slave. So the Gemara asks the question that I understand by the slave that you had to give her the whole slave, but by the para, why can't you cut the horn off the para and just give her the horn? So the Gemara answers because the pasuk says v'kosav v'nasan la, that it's missing two steps, ksiva and asina, but if in this case where you would need to cut it also, so it's mechusar, ksiva, ksitza, vinasina, you would have to write it, then cut the horn off the para, and then give the horn, chiyai gavna, it's pasul. The Rabbi Yosef says, in kaisin loy al davar sheyesh beruach chayim v'loy ala oichem. Rabbi Yosef adds another tanai, that not only does it have to be written on a davar hamiskayim, it can't be written on a davar sheyesh by ruach chayim or on food. Why? So the Gemara says because he darshans the word sefer. Mas sefer miyuchid shein by ruach chayim ve'ena oichel. Just like a sefer is something that's not alive and it's not a food, so too the get has to be written on something that's not a balchai and not a oichel. The Chachamim argue, they hold that the word sefer just means l'sfiras tvarim hu asa for the story of the get. Mishnah Dalid, in kaisim mechuber lekarka. V'chatchila, you're not allowed to write a get on mechuber lekarka. But if b'diavad you went ahead and the ksiva part was b'mechuber, and then afterwards you were tolshay v'chasmai, you detached it after the ksiva, and then the signature was done when it was already talish, then b'diavad it's kosher. However, Rabbi Yehuda says that the ksiva also has to be written on talish. Ad shetei ksiva v'chasimasai b'talish. Because Rabbi Yehuda's shita is that the v'kasav has to be on talish also. And the shita of the Tanakama is a machlokes in the Gemara if it's going like a Belazar that says Eide Mesira Karti, and l'chatchila the reason why you can't write it is referring to the typhus of the get. Is every part of the get besides the Shem Ha'ish v'Shem Ha'isha v'Hazman, and the reason why l'chatchila you can't write it is a gzeira that you're going to come to write the Torah also. But the problem is in the ksiva, because we're going like Rabbi Lazar that says Eidem Mesira Karti, and there's no problem in the chasima. And the second pshat in the Gemara is Reish Lakish is that the reason why you can't write it is because we're afraid that you're going to be chaysim it, and it's going like our mayor that Eidem Chasima Karti, and the real problem is if the chasima was done on mechuber lekarka. The last part of the Mishnah says, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira Omer, in kaisvin loy al niyar hamachak v'loy hal diftera. You can't write on paper that's erased or diftera, which is a hide, which is midway through the process. It was already maliach v'kamiach, but it wasn't afetz. And in such a case, when you erase it, you can't tell that it was erased. So it's also very similar. It's erasable paper. Mneishu yachal is die if we're afraid that person's going to erase it and put a t'nai in there that wasn't there before. But the Chachamim Machshir and the Chachamim hold that it's kosher. The Gemara explains because the Chachamim hold man Chachamim Rabbi Lazar he the Omar Eide Mesira Karti. It's going like Rabbi Lazar that says Eide Mesira Karti, and therefore the Eidim that the get was given in front of them, they're the Ikar HaGerishin, not the Eide Chasima. But by other shtaras where the Chasima is important, then the Chachamim will be maskim that you cannot write on erasable paper.